Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestle Debate and to another edition of NXT Out 10. Of course, a big show today. We've got a couple of big matches coming up, especially the women's tag team titles on the line in the main event. So yeah, should be an interesting show, and let's get straight into it. And we started things off with Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. Swerve Scott took his time taking his jacket off and suckered Leon Ruff in, allowing him to get in control. A counter to JML cutter saw Ruff send Swerve to the floor to get in control. Ruff avoided a kick on the apron, hanging Swerve upside down on the ropes and catching him with a flying dropkick. During the break, they explored the CWC moving backstage, and it continued to go mental before Swerve Scott managed to get the win with another JML driver. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Frantic start to NXT. But anyway, next up, Cameron Grimes was in the ring, and he was taking on a jobber. Basically just a dominant win for Grimes, and the Cave-In got the win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was fine. Before GM William Regal was backstage, and Scarlett was there arguing with Johnny Gargano. Frankie Monet did her usual stuff backstage. Cameron Grimes was celebrating in the locker room and did some fraudulent things before we got into GYV versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher dominated James Drake early on, and Timothy Thatcher made it look easy when he got in the ring. Thatcher countered this with a sleeper attempt. Drake tried to break it up before we returned, and Drake found himself in the wrong corner and was being beaten down. Ciampa and Drake fell to the floor, leaving Gibson on the back foot, and Timothy Thatcher eventually got the win. I'll give it 7 out of 10. This was decent. But anyway, backstage, Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano were looking to bust down William Regal's door. They weren't happy. They wanted the match with Cross before Swerve Scott was saying he's going to move on to bigger and better things after beating Ruff. Cross came down and said no one's ever going to beat him before Kyle O'Reilly came down, then Pete Dunne came down, then Balor came down. They all had a little bit of a spat before the Way came down, and they ended up on top. And yeah, this is interesting. To be honest, I'm kind of interested to see where the NXT title picture goes now. But anyway, next up we got Zayda Ramia versus Sarai. NXT saw the debut of two new wrestlers. They traded shots early on. The Mutalock was locked in, but Ramia made it to the ropes. However, Sarai was in control. Ramia avoided a shot from Sarai. However, it didn't last long. She'd pick up the win with a German suplex after a super sleeplex follow-up. I'll give this a 6 out of 10. This was a decent match to kick off the show. Imperium was backstage. Walter was on the Zoom call, and he was saying how he's going to destroy NXT and all of that. Before we got LA Knight and Jake Atlas. LA Knight was verbally trashing Atlas early on before a shortcut allowed Knight to gain control early on. There was a rolling roundhouse, and Knight dropped him with a BFT to get a quick win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. This was fine. But anyway, next up, the Way were getting ready for the title match later on before Legado del Fantasma saying they want to go after the Cruiserweight Championship and the Tag Team Championships. And Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez were in a bit of a war of words earlier, and they were going on about how I'm going to beat all of you before Ted DiBiase appeared again. I'm kind of loving all of this Ted DiBiase and gimmicks and stuff like that. It kind of had a different dimension to Grimes' character. But anyway, moving on to the main event, it was The Way versus Ember and Shotzi. Before the introductions began, the four attacked each other early on. Moon paired off with Candice LeRae, then Blackheart focused on Indy Hartwell. With a trash can in the ring, Moon got in control, and it looks like she was going to win, but LeRae broke up the pin, and then it continues to go back and forth. There's ladder spots and everything. And the finish came when LeRae hit a wicked stepsister on Hartwell. Moon was out to get the win. 7 out of 10. Overall this week, NXT gets a 6 out of 10. I enjoyed some of the matches. I just think some of the booking situations were a bit dodgy. Like, we keep on changing around the women's tag team titles. But on the whole, this was an enjoyable show. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, maybe 7 if I enjoyed the booking decisions more. But anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel on screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.